Hello.
Welcome to our lovely Chinese class today. Welcome back to the Hype, where minds collide and ideas amplified. This is Merna coming to you live from Beijing, and our theme today is Glamorous Chinese, Easy Learning Worldwide. Today, we are bringing together the entire world for one shared classroom, and the focus is learning Chinese, because learning the language is no longer just about textbooks anymore. It's about how you connect with people, how you make collaborations, and friendship. Everyone has a different story, so we can't wait to hear your story on how to master the language and how to really be part of this global conversation. Today we are joined with three lovely guests with us here. Guys, thank you so much for joining us, and what a wonderful song to Jasmine Flower to, welcome the episode. Brian, let's start with you. Please say hello to our audience and let us get to know you.
Hello everyone, my name is Brian Gonzalez. I'm from Argentina. I've been living in Beijing for 17 years and I've been learning Chinese for 20 years. I started in 2006, so I'm very glad to be here today.
20 years,
Yeah,
wow. We can't wait to hear more of your story.
Thank
Zubaida,
you.
please say hello.
Hello everyone, I'm Zubaida from Bangladesh. I've been learning Chinese since I was 1.5 years old. And right now I'm studying in Beijing, Peking University as a bachelor student, and I'm really glad to be here today.
Thank you so much for joining us. Sasha.
Hi everyone, my name is Alexandra Sashurina, Chinese name Gao Yanli, and I've been studying Chinese for 5 years. I've graduated Business Administration Bachelor's in Belarus, and now I study in Beijing and Peking University, and I'm studying a language here. Glad to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us. As you've heard, they all have different stories. We'll get to know them in a bit, but they all have one common thing, which is the love for the Chinese language. So let's start with Brian first. Tell us a bit about your story. How did you learn Chinese, and how has it been 20 years?
Well, I'm that old, first of all. And well, I started to study Chinese when I was 14 years old. And I really loved the language since the beginning, because the first class, my Chinese teacher just wrote in Chinese, 普通话, and I saw the 3 characters and I said, wow, so different. Like
Something's
Spanish.
calling me.
Yeah, something is calling me. It's like so different, and it's so interesting that I got in love since the beginning, especially in writing. And well, I had a very good teacher, to be honest, and we started to learn a lot about the culture and stuff, but you had to think like it was in 2006. It's not the same as it is now. So we have a lot of, I don't know, apps or everything right now, but back in the day, it was all the dictionaries, like the little books, and like the most advanced things that we had was like the electronic dictionary, like a little notebook like that. That was the most advanced thing. And my first and best Chinese friend, we used to do like, he was studying Spanish and I was studying Chinese. So we used to have like A4 like papers like this, and we would write the stuff that we wanted to say. Him Chinese, I did it in Spanish, and now we were with the dictionaries trying to understand what we wanted to say. So it was like a whole journey until now, so it's very interesting, I think.
A beautiful story. I love that you also had like a language buddy to study
Yeah.
Spanish and Chinese.
Yes.
But as we know, Brian is also quite the star in terms of his social media content and television programs. So can you tell us a bit more how the language has helped you enter into that field?
Well, it was, I started to work in a TV show 11 years ago. The show is called Informal Talks, and it's pretty famous in these foreigners in China doing like content and TV shows, right? And actually Chinese really helped me, because one thing that I said to them during the cast was, the casting, it was like, you will not find another Latin American that could speak as well as I do Chinese. I was bluffing a little bit, of course, but like Argentines, where we have that kind of personality that we like to show off or whatever. So they really loved that, and they thought like my Chinese was very good. So that was why I got selected, and then from that day my life changed completely, because I started a new phase in my life, like being a media personality.
But it sounds like it's been quite the journey over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
I must mention, when you mentioned the electronic dictionary, Zubaida gave you a look like, what is that? You see, she's like, what is that? Tell us a bit more about your story, Zubaida.
Yeah, I did not know what he actually was mentioning. But
I'm that old, I told you.
okay, so my story is a little bit different because he knew what he wanted. But for me, it was more subtle. You know how you have love at first sight, but there's another type of love that you realize realized after so many time that, oh wait, I actually love this so much. It was something like that for me because I moved to China with my family when I was one and a half year old because of my dad's job. So speaking Chinese was just like a lifestyle for me because obviously I lived here and it would make sense if I spoke the language. And then after 7 years, almost around 7 years, we went back to Bangladesh. And then I think that was the moment I was like, when I went back, I realized I actually really missed the language. I really missed learning it. And then, I don't know, I miss interacting with the people and my friends back there who really were very welcoming and really, I don't know, really warm-hearted, yeah. And then, so I started learning by myself, and it was actually a more difficult situation because, you know, when it's all of your environment is filled with Chinese people or the resources, it's easier to learn the language. But for me, I was back in Bangladesh and there weren't actually too many people back then learning Chinese. So it was just mostly myself. So I would just have to go to the classes. And it gets a little bit boring if you just learn from the textbook. So I'm actually kind of against it. And then all of a sudden, I discovered this new world, which is watching the dramas and then also reading Chinese novels, because I feel like that's when you are actually doing something that doesn't feel like a task, because it's like, even though you want to learn the language, it gets a little bit annoying when you're looking at the textbook. It feels like a task. But then when you're actually learning a novel or watching a drama, it's actually enjoyment and you're really into it. So that's when I just kept learning and it just became so easy, like an everyday task, and I just fell in love more. And later I decided I'm going to come back for studies here, and now here I am as an undergraduate student in Peking University.
Well, that's a very interesting story as well, coming from someone who wasn't originally planning to learn the language. It was just part of your environment. Do you find it much easier since you learned the language at such a young age?
Yes, I would say I am a little privileged than other people who learn, for example, like 14, because you have to put in extra effort into, but for me it was just something very natural because I was a kid anyway, and I just happened to be started learning Chinese. But I actually realized how hard it is to actually get another time and then put in effort to learn the language when I was back in Bangladesh, because I had to practice the characters every single day. And at one point it just gets really annoying and it's just, I don't want to do this. But of course the love for the language just keeps you going, and then you don't end up regretting. At least I didn't. Yeah.
Well, as you've seen in the beginning of the video of our show, you sang a lovely song, Jasmine Flower. Do you usually enjoy singing as part of learning the language?
Yes. I would say I really enjoy listening to Chinese songs, and especially the ones that is the traditional ones, and with the Beijing opera kind of into it. And I just feel like it's such a different style. You don't get to listen to it anywhere else, and it's just something very beautiful. Yeah.
What a unique take on how to master a language through music and TV shows and novels, as you've mentioned.
Yes.
To our lovely Sasha over there, tell us your story.
First of all, guys, I love your stories so much. My story is completely different. So I've started learning Chinese 5 years ago as a challenge, to be honest. I was just bored one day and I was like, okay, what's the most difficult language in the world? And then I got Arabic and Chinese. And then I looked at the foreigners that we have in Belarus, and we have a lot of foreigners coming from China, like a lot of students, right? And I was like, okay, it makes sense. I can at least practice the language, right? So I've started learning Chinese by myself at first, and then I slowly decided to join Confucius Institute in Belarus. We have a lot of them because the relationship is very good with China. And then the teachers saw the potential in me, and I'm so grateful to my teachers, honestly. They've put a lot of effort into helping me, right? And then they told me that I better participate in some contests and stuff, and then surprisingly I did get somewhat good results. And then in 2024 I did win the Belarusian Chinese bridge competition, and then participated in the finals in China, and it was my first time coming to China. I was so excited. Oh my god, the dream come true, to be honest. Yeah, and then I did get into top 30 in the Chinese bridge competition in China. And from that moment on, I think my life has changed a lot, all thanks to Chinese. And I was able to now study in China, right? And make friends from all over the world. That's actually an advantage Chinese gives you. It allows you to meet people coming from all over the places. And then, it gave me the motivation that I sometimes lacked in learning Chinese. And I started learning much harder, and decided to make my life connected with Chinese. Yeah. that's the story.
What a fantastic way to start something. I just want to challenge myself. Why not start learning Chinese? That's quite an interesting take on it. As you mentioned, Chinese and Arabic are two of the hardest languages in the world. From someone who speaks both, I can tell you they are equally hard in, they're not equally hard, they're hard in different aspects,
ways,
in different ways, but to be able to master the language, I think, not as a young person, but as an adult, is something very magical, I think.
Yeah.
And you told us you got to the finals of the Chinese Bridge. How was that experience,
Yeah.
making friends from all over the world?
Yeah, it was so nerve-wracking. I did put so much effort into it. To be honest, it was like one of the worst and one of the best moments of my life, because the preparation needed to participate in the Chinese Bridge is just insane. And then you represent your own country, right? It's just, oh my God. I cannot use the words to describe it, but it's totally worth it, and it's worth to challenge yourself. And then the confidence that you gain after participating in such a contest is incomparable to anything else. Yeah. And then the people participating there are also very goal-driven. They love Chinese, they love the Chinese culture and the language, and you understand that you're not alone in this fight with Chinese. Yeah, and then you give motivation to other contestants, and they motivate you, and it just makes your journey much better and just fulfills you.
That's beautiful. Well, we've heard from our three lovely guests. They're very sweet and touching and really deep stories on how they began learning the language. To our dear audience, if you do have similar stories on how you began learning Chinese, please let us know in the comments below and keep the interaction going during our live stream. So all of you have shared different stories on how you began to learn the language. You all speak it very well right now, but let's talk about the challenges that you had to go through in mastering the language. Now, for a little ice-breaking game, even though I don't think we need ice-breaking anymore, I think we got to know each other a little bit. Can you please list down what do you think is the hardest part about learning the language?
Yeah.
Brian, would you like to write yours down
Yeah,
first?
for
I think we
sure.
can write ours down and then we'll put them
Okay.
behind us so the audience can have also a closer look.
Well, mine is this one.
Let's show our cameras.
Like this.
Idioms. Oh my God.
Of course, it's not from the beginning, because you cannot learn the Chinese idioms from the beginning, but getting to a certain level, like idioms is like one of the hardest things that I have to learn. So I go there?
Yes,
Okay.
please. Idioms is definitely hard, but I do think the meaning behind them is quite beautiful.
And the story and everything, like all the culture behind it, yeah. Let me see. Okay.
All right, thank you, Brian. So we
You're
started
welcome.
with idioms. Zubaida, let us know yours.
Okay, so for me, it's the Chinese characters, because as I mentioned before, learning how to write Chinese was the most challenging part for me personally, because I feel like Mandarin, the character is just so different than any other language, as we all know, because they have different characters, they have their very own pattern, if I can put it like that, other than when on other languages you can just
Spell it
adjust the characters, it's the same. But yeah, personally for me it's the biggest challenge. So.
All right, Zubaida, off to the wall. Let's see. I do think characters in Chinese, because you have to memorize them, it'd be much harder than like spelling them out in different
You
languages.
have to take the. You have to read the.
okay.
Yeah.
A literal nightmare. I
A
agree.
little nightmare. But
learning.
for me, it's like the most interesting part, because it's so
characters.
different
Characters?
to other. Yeah. And I really loved writing in Chinese. I
Oh,
think
right,
it's,
right. But it takes so much time to practice. Like,
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
then I
that's
could
hard.
show you my PG, you know, like what I did, what I've done when I
I can
started.
imagine, actually.
Yeah.
All right, let's get a Sasha. What do you think is the hardest part about
yeah,
learning the
well, for
language?
me, it's definitely tones, because
me
Russian and
too.
Belarusian doesn't have tones, obviously, right? And especially the third tone plus the second tone, like in the words like 语言, right, the language, or 法国, like France. This, I don't know, and not only me, I know a lot of friends of mine, they also find it hard to hear the difference, and they make mistake, and it makes them sound not very native. But like, yeah.
Also, if a tone was like written wrongly, you might change the entire word.
Yes,
So for example, like the
yeah.
word horse, ma, if you change it to anything,
Yeah.
it'll just change the
Yes,
entire
it's crazy.
meaning. All right, Sasha,
Yeah.
up to the wall to add our tones. And to our dear audience, do you agree more with idioms, characters, or tones? And if you have something that you find is harder, please let us know in the comments below. Brian, tell us a bit more about idioms. Once
Yeah.
you mastered them, what was that feeling like?
Well, first of all, I really wanted to master the idioms, because as an Argentine, we use a lot of idioms when we speak, like in Spanish, of course. So I wanted to know some at least when I was speaking in Chinese. So I think the best way that is consistency, but through a diary.
A diary?
Yeah, like every day, writing at least one idiom, and then like write it many times, and then, for example, finding on internet one sentence with that idiom and copy there, and then maybe write a little bit of the story behind it, not in Chinese, probably in my own language. So I get like more into it step by step, day by day. It was like that.
All right, so you are telling us how you tackled it, which is the method Brian used through diary.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite idiom, if we may ask?
Oh, there's so many. There is so many. Like, I cannot even say one right now. It's
Too much diaries written.
Too much diaries. Like, the first one that comes to my mind is like, 画蛇添足 or 对牛弹琴, for example. I don't know, like this.
That's a very interesting one.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it exactly means?
对牛弹琴 is like playing like a violin to a cow. Which is
We're not on the same page.
yeah. Basically, it's like, well, I'm wasting my time like telling all these things and you are not understanding.
Yes,
like, probably like that.
Beautiful said. All right,
Okay, so
please
this
share
one
the
it is.
diary.
Yes.
And for Zubaida, tell us, how did you tackle the
I would
characters?
say it all got a little bit better when I started learning the 字旁. How do you say it in Chinese, the side characters? It's just basically in Chinese characters, for people who's learning it, you know that every character on the left, they have something that's like different, and the right part differs, but the left part, there's some similarities. For example, 三点水 is for, when you see 三点水, you know this character has to be connected to water, or like 火字旁, then it's connected to fire or something hot. And I think if you actually get to know about this, first of all, it's very interesting to know about them, because it's just, how do you even think of them, right? And then when you see them in the characters, you can kind of guess. And then I remember my teacher was telling us one trick of how to know Chinese characters is just, first of all, look at the pang, so you can kind of get the meaning. And the right part, it's usually a common character, and if you know kind of the common character, that how you can read, you can actually kind of figure out what because it's the right part says about the tone, the left part says about something about the meaning. So it's just, you can basically kind of guess, and I think that stick to me, and it really helped me a lot.
That's a very good take on how to memorize characters. I think traditional Chinese characters back in the day were written as a form of the image looks like the word, but I think with modern style Chinese, it's a very good way to memorize it. Thank you, Zubaida. All right, Sasha, tell us a bit more about how you tackled the sound tones system.
So, well, what I would advise you to do is to do the shadowing. The shadowing technique, I think everybody knows it actually. I think it's very common for language learning, and Chinese is not an exception actually, right? So basically what you do with shadowing is you, for example, turn on a video or watch the dramas or whatever you enjoy, and then just repeat after the person, right? And then, just spend time mimicking the pronunciation. I think it's super, super helpful. And then AI tools are also very good, especially now. Now we don't have to use this complicated ways of learning the language, right?
I'm old, I know.
Now we can just use AI and Chinese. There are some very great Chinese AI. They're super helpful. You can literally like give them a call and then use Chinese to like communicate with them, right? Yeah.
Now you young people have it so easy.
I know, right?
Back in the day, I had to search it.
Yeah, now it's much easier. And then you can just, first of all, mimic the same way shadowing, right? The AI, or you can ask the AI which problems you have, and then the AI is gonna adjust it. And also probably use the vocabulary that you wanna learn. So it's like killing two birds with one stone. It's super universal.
Right, to our dear audience, if you have problems tackling idioms, characters, or the tones, our lovely guests have given you their methods of mastering the language. Thank you guys for sharing. Now, just to go back to the difference in time, not that we're calling you old, we're calling you a pioneer in the age of memorizing Chinese characters when there was no AI.
Yeah.
So you actually had to go to dictionary and memorize, and as you said, diary, handwrite it.
Let me see. Let me show you.
You brought your diary.
This is my diary. Like, actually, it has like almost 20 years.
Oh
to
my
be
God,
honest.
so valuable. Show us.
Yeah, wait. Like for example, I have even songs. Look at all these things that I have here. Like since the beginning, let me show. Like my first characters. Look, the numbers. They were the numbers in Chinese, like that. But then I have all these, for example, this one. 周末计划 it was like a weekend plan. Like this was all the vocabulary that I had to learn in that unit. So it's like all the characters that I was writing like this. Then it became better and better with the time, like more, how to say,
Beautiful,
yeah, better looking, yeah. So yeah, it's been like, it's a long way to do like this back in the day. But I look at this, like for example,
oh wow,
this, you know,
you
like
have the pinyin, you have the characters,
everything, like the pinyin, the
right
characters, the translation in Spanish, like everything, you know, like. But actually, for me, because it's not because of the age, no, but I really need to write stuff to memorize. You know, like for example, when I have to memorize a speech, I have to write it myself because I have like this kind of mechanic memory too. So you have to learn what kind of memory you have so you can improve your method of study. Yeah.
I fully agree with Brian. I mean, first of all, a round of applause for Brian for bringing us this notebook and years of hard work, 20 years worth of hard work in this notebook. As I must share, lots of young people right now, whether you are learning Chinese or another language, how many of you have met native speakers who have told you, I forgot how to write this character, only because we type it all the time. You can't even remember how to write it anymore by hand. So I think if that happens, the best advice is to go back to handwriting. Because, I mean, speaking of the HSK exam, we also have the online, I mean, how to say, the computer version of it, and we have the handwritten version of it. I think if you really want a character to stick, you really need to practice it by hand. As you've seen a perfect example from your big bro, Brian, over here for our dear audience.
And now, like, even in my work, I have two little notebooks, and I write everything by hand. And in my house, I have also how to say, like a board, and I write everything that I have to do this day or this week, all in Chinese, so I don't forget the characters and I don't forget the writing, the handwriting.
That's wonderful, and I think it sticks in your head as well, doesn't
totally,
it?
Totally.
We've heard it from our lovely guests. There are thousands of different methods of learning Chinese, and with the advancement of AI and different tools of technology, the ways of learning are changing. So let's see how global learners of Chinese language across the world are learning Chinese. Let's cue a wonderful video and check it out.
我喜欢中文，但是中文太难了。
我觉得 AI 口语陪练让我学习很方便。
在我学习中文的过程，我常常用电子字典查生词、一字一题、汉字笔画，因为有很多汉字我都不太熟悉。
刚开始的时候，我觉得中文的发音和汉字都很难，但是慢慢的，我发现学习中文其实很有意思。平时学习的时候，我常常听中文，也会和中国朋友聊天。学完以后，我的中文越来越好。
如果我想让 AI 帮助我，我想让它帮助我学习那些我不认识的字，告诉我拼音，还有告诉我一些成语的意思。
我在学习中文的时候，我会用词典类 App 和 AI 口语陪练，它们都很好用，可以帮助我查单词、改语法、翻译句子，也可以与我对话，帮我纠正发音。
我常常看中国的电视剧，听中文的音乐，还有会看小红书的博客。
我希望 AI 能做出学习中文的游戏，把学习中文变得有趣。
我还用语音识别软件练习发音。我说中文，软件告诉我发音对不对。我觉得这个软件很好。
你好，孔子，我害怕犯错，我该如何从失败中获得力量？
知错乃常情，然失败乃成功之基，当视之为师。从失败中反思，汲取教训，磨砺心智，自能获奋进之力也。
我们想去中国上大学，中国等我。
All right, welcome back to our studio here in Beijing. We literally just took you across the world to Chinese learners globally. And thank you so much to everyone who shared their video. There are really different methods of learning Chinese. And one of my favorite is the student, the younger student who said, I wish there are more games involving the Chinese language so I can start playing. What a unique and creative way to share that. And for the last video that we've seen, the interaction part on the board was actually our lovely AI Confucius, a timeless teacher. So if you guys try on our CGTN website, you can find the AI Confucius. You can interact with it. It comes with different languages. You can answer the questions as if Confucius was right next to you answering a question. Last year during one of our reportings, I think it was during Nishan, we have actually asked lots of our sinologists, what would you ask Confucius? So I feel like if you definitely try the game, I wouldn't even call it a game, the AI Confucius Master, you can ask him any questions you want regarding his words, regarding his golden quotes, just to get to know the language more. So how beautiful is AI in terms of mastering the language and helping us learn things that once upon a time we might actually have to dig through a few books to learn from that methods. All right, so back to our lovely guest over here. Zubaida, let's start with you. You've told us that you're still doing your bachelor's right now.
Yes.
What are you studying?
I'm studying in engineering.
Engineering.
Yes.
So I bet you're more logical in terms of how you think and stuff like that.
Well, maybe I wouldn't say that, but yeah, I am learning something like more related to technology.
Is that something that you wanted to learn before you started your Peking University journey?
Yes, yes, yes. I always wanted to learn engineering because the way you make different stuff and then you can just, I don't know, build things, it just sounded really cool. That was the thought I had when I was a kid, and then I realized when I grow up, then I can actually learn this, and it's really helpful, and I can also help my country and make a bunch of stuff. So I was just like, okay.
Is it a very well-liked major in Bangladesh? Because I feel like in the Arab culture, doctors, lawyers, and engineers are like the top three majors.
Yes.
So tell us a bit more about Bangladesh.
It's the same.
Yes,
it's the same.
So I bet your parents were very glad you studied.
Yes.
All right. So engineering, in terms of learning Chinese, I'm sure lots of the terms are very different than how they are in English. Tell us, how are you mastering classes in terms of learning the language, but also a major?
So first of all, the major that I'm doing, the course, it's actually fully in Chinese. So coming from a person who has studied in international school her whole life, it is actually kind of a big change for me because I have to go from studying everything in English to fully in Chinese. And it's like literally immediately. So there was no in between for me. Because I did learn Chinese for a really long time, but I feel like it's just, you know, the everyday conversation, daily life, and it's fine when I talk to people, but it's not really fine when you're learning an actual major where there's a lot of jargons and everything. So for me, the way I'm trying to do it is basically every time we're starting a new topic, I kind of just note down all the stuff that I need to know, which maybe I already knew the names in English, but I have to write them down in Chinese because obviously it's not something you use every single day. So, and through that, it's just, and then when you keep learning, you just get used to it. Yeah.
Noting down the different phrases or terms because they are more, how do I say, special to that major, right?
Yes.
And do you use different parts of, like, let's say AI or specific conversations with your senior students? How do you tackle that?
Yes, with my senior students, I don't know, but in actually everyday study and when it's time for me to take my notes, AI actually does come really helpful because I can just ask them, oh, what is this topic and can you explain it to me a little bit easily in English? And when they make it a summary, it's kind of like, okay, I have an idea now what I'm learning. Maybe I've heard about this before in English, but it's just totally new in Chinese. So this is when actually AI becomes really important. I actually don't know what I would do if AI wasn't there.
I'd love to know something more. You mentioned that you think learning engineering eventually can also make you help your country in terms of engineering. Well, I'm sure you've already started doing some research or stuff like that. How do you think your education in China in terms of engineering in your university can help the future of how you work in engineering in Bangladesh?
I would say Bangladesh, since it's a developing country, there's a lot of aspects where I could help them through engineering. But for now, I think it's more like, you know, the technology, maybe compared to China where everything is really advanced, but Bangladesh isn't that advanced. So it's just if I am a person who happens to be an engineer and also knows very well about two countries and their culture and also their language, so I could easily be the bridge and then also help maybe this two country and also my country to develop and then take the resources from here because, you know, China and Bangladesh has a really good relation and then China has been helping Bangladesh for many years. So I hope I can contribute to that too when I grow up. Yeah.
That's wonderful. What about the younger Chinese learners from Bangladesh? Do you feel like this kind of talent is very needed right now?
Yes, I do. Because in fact, right now in Bangladesh, when I go back to my country, to the institute that I was learning Chinese before, I realized there's so many people learning Chinese right now. And I was actually fascinated because when it was me learning, it was just like a few people, and now there's so many. And I realized it's not only because how Chinese has become more and more popular year by year, and it's also because how there's new opportunities. Young people, if they just get graduated and you happen to learn another language and it happens to be Chinese, where in Bangladesh nowadays there's a lot of Chinese investors, so you just get another opportunity, extra opportunity, and of course that's better for you. So that's why, for different reasons, whether it's for opportunities or they like it themselves, a lot of young people are learning Chinese right now.
That's beautiful. So if you were to give a message to the younger Bangladesh students learning Chinese, what kind of majors, from like a big sister, can you tell them what kind of aspects or fields do you think they should enter in that's very going to be like very suitable for both countries' collaboration?
I think in terms of development, like I did, probably engineering. And also maybe more and more people need to learn language too, because like the language and the culture itself, I mean. Because I feel like learning a language is not just only knowing how to speak, also learning how the people think and the way how their thought process is, if you know what I mean. Because I had a few times when I helped some Chinese or like Bangladeshi people as a translator for them to, communicate better. And I realized sometimes it's not only, you cannot really communicate without any problem if you know the language. You also need to know how the people think. Because it's just, I don't know, it happens kind of, but say this person did something they didn't mean any offense, but maybe because of the cultural difference, you kind of take it offensively. And that's where you need to know about the culture instead of only just the language,
Yes.
So just to avoid this kind of misunderstanding, I would recommend them to not only learn the language, but also encourage them to come to China and then research about the culture itself.
Yes.
I wanted to say something. Like, sometimes it happens that when you translate directly, like word by word, it's like, okay, that's rude. From our point of view, that we already know like how to express in different languages. But for example, if you use a direct translation, it's like, oh no, that's rude.
Yes.
So it's very important to know the thinking process.
What they
the
actually
culture,
mean by that.
What they actually mean.
Definitely. You need to immerse in the culture. As I've always believed, learning a language alone is like looking at something through one eye. If you really want to look at the full view, you really need to immerse in the culture. Speaking of someone who has immersed in the culture for the past 20 years, tell us about your experience in the beginning. What made you really want to choose to come to China, not only learn the language?
What was in the beginning? Why did I wanted to learn Chinese? First of all, was randomly. I went out of school. Of course, in the geography class, we talk about China and everything, but I was always curious, and I was always curious about languages since I was very little, because half of my family, they will speak like native languages from South America, or my grandpa from Spain, but an area, Galicia, that speak Portuguese, for example. So in my house, we were used to listen to these kind of things, so I always really like languages. But why to come to China? I also participated in like the Chinese Bridge, but I was 16 years old. Yeah, so I was very little, and I got a scholarship, but I couldn't come to China because I was very little. So, but I was very thankful for the embassy in that moment, because they got the scholarship for 2 years. They waited for me. So I'm very helpful for that. I'm very thankful for that. And I came when I was 18. Yeah, so it was like my first time on an airplane. It was the first time outside my country. 18 years old, it was like, wow, where I'm going. But I went to my school. I love my school. I'm from RY Bisu.
Shout out.
Yeah, and because my school is probably very small compared to other schools like Beidao or Tsinghua, but there is one idiom too, like they say that
you do love idioms.
麻雀虽小，五脏俱全, right? So it doesn't matter that the sparrow is very small, but it has all the organs. So so when I arrived to my school, it's like, okay, it's like a little city. It like looks like my hometown, so I feel at home, And then you have a lot of friends from all around the world, and it's so beautiful. You meet people from Bangladesh, from Belarus, from everywhere. Like, I was crazy when I saw a person from Vanuatu. For me, it was like, wow. That's a place I only saw in in the map. That's it. So yeah, that was like the whole process why I came to China. Yeah, and well, right now actually, I really wanna recommend people one of the videos that I've been doing, which is the there it is. There it is.
Learning Chinese with ease videos.
Yeah. So it was like a couple of years ago. We have many episodes. So it's like a very easy way to learn Chinese. So I hope you guys like it. Yeah.
Well, thank you to Brian for cueing this lovely segment of videos. It really does cover lots of different topics.
Yeah.
And I think there's also lots of interactive segments with it as well, coming with this whole project. You have games, you have little videos, you have words that actually, not only do you learn the word, you can actually see a video of how that word can be used or that phrase.
Exactly.
So thank you so much for joining the video and being part of the project.
Thank you for the invitation back in the day.
Speaking of the parts of the videos, you entered China's, I would say, television media, social media world quite early on. Tell us, how did the language help you enter that? And what would you recommend for someone younger who is trying to enter the field of social media, television, and all that?
Well, it was crazy because, internet slang is also different, of what we usually speak. So I enter a new world back in that day with like Weibo and now it's Red Note, for example. So it's been a whole different story. But I think the most important thing is to be real. It's like, I don't like the fake stuff, to be honest. I mean, you be real. What do you like? You can film it. Just be real. If you're interested in something, just do it and film the process. I think that's the big difference about social media or like this new media, which is we can be real. We can be like our daily life and how we as foreigners see China, or like, for example, I have many videos like me speaking in Chinese with my friends that speak Chinese who are foreigners outside of China. So that's completely crazy. This is like another world. So I think we've been here for many years in my case. So in the beginning, probably my video was, I'm surprised about China something. But right now it's like, I'm almost a Chinese person. It's been 17 years here. This is like half of my life. So it's like I'm almost Chinese. So it's like I'm surprised of the things that is happening because I've seen the process of development of China since 2009 until today. But at the same time, it's like I will cook in my house. I will cook Chinese food, and when I went back to Argentina in the New Year's, I did a whole 年夜饭,
Chinese feast,
Chinese
for your family?
feast for my whole family. My little nieces and nephews, they were so happy with the Chinese food. And then I gave them hongbao, and they were like, oh my God, they were even happier than with Santa Claus. So it is a like all these kind of things when you get the culture and then you show the culture to people that I'm not very familiar to. It's like it's a very nice way.
So when you see someone on the internet actually saying, the trending vibes of in my Chinese era, Brian has been in his Chinese era for the past like 20 years.
Exactly.
It's
totally.
not new to you.
So it's not new. Definitely not new.
So in terms of the future of videos that you're trying to do, what do you think for 2026 and beyond, what do you think your stories will highlight?
I actually working in kind of different projects. One of them is a podcast, which is like foreigners talking about things, Chinese things or Chinese around or the world thing that is happening, for example, and being like closer to our audience. Yeah, because podcasts, I love podcasts because you are very relaxed. It's like radio, like it's so cool. And also, I'm working with other friends in different highlights, like showing like how to say deep stories, Chinese stories, like through our eyes. Even though we are foreigners, but we actually want to know more of the Chinese stories. So that will be my project very soon. Yeah. So
we look forward to it.
Yeah.
I'll look forward to seeing more stories coming from Brian. And now for our lovely guest over here, Sasha, can you tell us a bit more about after the Chinese Bridge, after coming to China? How has your education been? How has your life been? And what is your story?
So after I came back to China, I started learning Chinese much more 认真, like much harder, right? Because now I've set myself a clear goal, and it's very important actually when you learn a language to set a clear goal. It will help you not to give up, because giving up is very easy, especially when you are learning Chinese. I think it's so difficult. Like it's just a natural option, right? But you guys have to stick to it, okay? Yeah. And then after that, it was like I did have to put a lot of effort into applying to the universities. It does take time, and it's, oh my God, it's very nerve-wracking while you're waiting for the results and you have to pass your HSKs. But it is worth it, and if you are able to go through this process without giving up, the results that you're getting are actually amazing. It's amazing to study in China, to be honest. The opportunities China gives are incredible, and also like the quality of education is high. The dormitories are good, so like I think it's amazing that I was lucky enough to experience it, and that I'm experiencing it now.
Are you studying business in university?
I've graduated my bachelor's
in
like bachelor's.
And I do know you have also some, you dabble in content creating as well.
Yeah. So basically, while studying my bachelor's in Belarus in business administration, I was also part-time working in marketing as a marketing specialist. Yeah, so I was doing this content creation for more than 2 years, and also I've started my Chinese social media relatively recently. So Brian, thanks for your advice. I'm gonna try to follow it. Yeah, and basically, so.
And what kind of stories are you sharing on your social media right now?
My initial goal was to become a sort of a bridge, right, between our cultures, and to share my life in Belarus and our culture to the Chinese people, and vice versa, share the Chinese culture to the Belarusians. And also I do share my life stories in China, what surprises me, like a typical content from a foreigner in China. Yeah.
And what about future aspects? What are you hoping to achieve, not only through social media, but for yourself in the future?
Well, I hope I can develop social media further and actually have an impact on the relationship of two countries. I think it's very much possible. I think nowadays every person has the power of influencing others. So I hope I can succeed in this direction. And then in the future, well, I do hope that my friendship with China continues, that my life path is connected with China as well. And I hope I can keep studying in China, because the opportunities are great, the universities are great. Actually, China has a lot of great universities. So let's hope that it does come true.
I'm sure it will come true. Based on my knowledge, or maybe it's just my friend circle, I know there's a strong group of Belarus girls and boys in China who are doing very well, whether it's business or social media or content creating. So I think that is a wonderful path that you're choosing to do. So we've heard the different stories, we've all heard the different journeys that they're on. They've shared their stories, they've shared their struggles and their triumphs. There's one thing that I've been seeing on the internet lately. I'm not sure if you guys will agree or not, since you've been here for a long time. China's, being shown a lot on social media in different ways, and now people outside of China are like, oh wow, this is so cool, I really want to come try it. But the foreigners in China are saying, wait, I've known this for a long time, you just got to know China? How about, what are you talking about? What do you feel when you see social media videos about people like, oh my God, China's so exciting, and you're like, well, I've known it's been exciting for the past 20 years.
Yeah, well, what could I say? Like, I don't know, like, for example, Chongqing right now is so popular. So popular. It's like incredible. Like, you see a lot of videos all the time about Chongqing or about Zhangjiajie, for example. But yeah, I know it for a long time. but yeah, like that also like Chinese food, or Shanghai or Beijing. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I don't know what to say about that. But totally, it's like so many things became so popular about China, especially the last few years, to be honest. It's not been so long. But also at the same time, what foreigners like about China is not something that we are consuming here so much in terms of content too. So it is like why are they interested in that? You know, yeah. But well, that's how it works, right? You cannot do anything.
I've seen lots of videos of like you said, like Chongqing and stuff. I was like, wait, I've never seen that. And like it's people who are coming for like 2-3 days to travel, and they're showing things that living here I haven't seen yet. So it makes me living here wanting to go see it more.
Yeah. Like last year, I have a friend like he came to visit me, and he had a list of I don't know, like maybe 20 things about every city must do in China. I said, come on, man. You know, it's like China is so. First of all, China is so big, like, and the cities are huge, and especially Chongqing, like, is like a 8D, you know, 8-dimension city. So it's like if we cannot do all, you know, like we are only staying there for 2 or 3 days. So it's like let's pick the things that we want to do, and let's not go to the very touristic places, please. What I love to do is like go into these alleys and eat like very local food.
The Beijing authentic vibes.
The Beijing Hutong or Shanghai Nongtan or even Hong Kong's in the alleys between the buildings. Or the stairs in Chongqing, like I like that kind of style, that kind of things. Not the thing that they're so beautiful, so big. No, it's okay. Yeah, take a picture, but don't spend a long time there.
Ryan's message is basically telling us extend your trip, make it longer. 2 days is not enough for all the places to cover in China. What about when you guys share with your friends back home in Bangladesh, in Belarus? What are they excited about compared to like what are you seeing here?
I would actually like to add to what Brian said. So basically, I'm new to China, okay? Like I've been here for 6 months now.
Oh, 6 months.
Yeah, so not a long time. So I'm exactly the tourist that is like goes to all of the popular places. And to be honest, it's so exciting to like first see some places on Instagram somewhere or like on Chinese social media, and then be able to go there without like putting all of my money into it and all the time, because I literally am studying here, right? So during this time, I've seen so many amazing places, and even the most popular ones, I think still it is worth it to go there, stand in this huge queue, take a picture, but still there are so many incredible places for traveling in China, and you cannot get bored here, to be honest.
So many places to visit. I share this because I think it's one of the sweetest things I've ever seen online, which is people coming from different countries trying to gatekeep China. So like they're just like, well, don't come, stay. This is like ours. I really enjoyed this and experienced it for like 10 years. I don't want more people to come.
It's like saying, why there are many foreigners here now? Why Beijing is full of foreigners?
Basically, you feel like the native here. You feel like why there's so many new people. That's beautiful. All right, lovely chat with all of you. Now we have actually received a bunch of questions from our lovely Chinese learners from across the world. So let's see what questions they have and if we can answer them together. All right, let's cue the first question. I know China has unique and magical herbal medicine knowledge. Where should I learn about it? Now, this question is not only going to be for the girls, but also Brian over here. How do you guys consume Chinese drinks, herbal medicine, and stuff like that? Yes, tell us.
I have something to say. The new one hack you have to know for everybody who comes to China is learn how to use Xiaohongshu. Because literally Xiaohongshu is the app for every single life hack that you would ever need, especially in China. So whatever you need, literally, I don't think there's any question that you would search there and you wouldn't find your answer. So if you want to learn about herbal medicine and what kind of tea is suitable for what kind of people, just go on Xiaohongshu and tons of people are going to tell you in very details that what you need to do exactly.
Very well said. All right, I think we also have a video answer for this question other than what our lovely Zubaida shared. Let's cue the video and see the answer.
大家好，我是吴明，我是一名德国籍中医。刚刚我收到 CGTN 的一个求助，他们说有几位国外的朋友想学中医，然后问问我应该从何入手。那你想学中医，那你必须学中文，这个是毫无疑问。但是不单单要学简单的中文，还要学一个东西叫文言文，就是我们的古文。因为你学中医之后，你会发现你绕不开要看《黄帝内经》、《神农本草经》、《伤寒论》、《温明条辨》等等，都是用文言文写的。咱别说翻译成外语，翻译成白话文都是很难的。所以学完这个普通话口语之后，你还要学文言文，还要学很多。我们说一个好的中医，上知天文，下知地理，中知人事。学中医之路非常的长，但是只要你们热爱，相信你们会成功，加油！
Wow, he talks
Well
very
done.
practically.
I can just say I was shocked when the video appeared. I thought like we'll have like an older Chinese doctor give us the answer until he pops up. But well said. What do you guys think of his answer?
Actually,
it makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of my friends are also learning Zhongyi, like the Chinese medicine, and a
Chinese
lot of
medicine,
foreigners are actually so interested in it.
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
surprised to know.
The guy in Haiyan he's also from
Yeah?
Belarus.
Oh, no.
Where is he
He's from Sweden. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So
okay,
like
okay.
we both participated in one of the events of Chinese Bridge,
Yeah.
and one of the participants is professionally learning.
Actually, the school where I started to learn Chinese in Argentina, they were teaching also traditional Chinese medicine.
Really?
So yeah. So it's like, I mean, acupuncture and everything is already very popular.
Yeah.
But lately, I've been seeing also cupping, like
Yeah.
bagua
Oh,
also.
right.
Yeah, and it's so interesting. Yeah.
There's also a university in Beijing, actually, the Zhongyao Daxue, the Chinese University for Traditional Chinese Medicine. They have lots of international students here trying to learn acupuncture, cupping, and all that, but also herbal studies.
Yes.
So I don't know about your countries. I do know, for example, the guests that we interviewed, I think they were from Serbia and Sudan, I think, and they were telling us the herbal drinks back from their countries really very similar, but also different with the Chinese herbs and stuff. But also on social media right now, we have seen people living in their Chinese era, which is waking up drinking tea and gochu berries and gua sha for the face.
Right.
I think that's something that lots of people are entering in right now. I think we have a next question. Please cue and let's check it out what it is. I find learning Chinese difficult, requiring a lot of memorization and copying of basic characters and words. Idioms and poems are also very abstract. How to solve this problem? Now, since idioms have been mentioned, I must cue Brian over here. What is your answer for this?
Well, it makes a lot of sense, but at the same time, I think what you have to do is to think not as a sentence, like the idiom or the poem. You have to think it. This one teacher said it before, like when I was in university. When you are learning the poems, you have to think about a painting. You know, you have to think about a painting, and then it makes so much sense.
Okay.
You know, so it's like Deng Guanquelou, for example. You're just seeing a scenery, a painting, and then it's describing it like so specifically, and then it makes a lot of sense. And also with idioms, what you need to do, of course, is like, but try to learn the story behind it. That's the most important
I actually
part.
have something to say. I still remember this one 成语塞翁失马, which I would say is like a kind of hard 成语 comparatively. But our teacher, she actually took the story behind it because it's like the Wen Yan Wen mentioned before and the story, and she taught us the characters and told us what the story actually meant. And it's just such a, you know the story, right? It's a very like about a person in the past who had very different opinions than the people who was saying what they were saying around him. So it's just after learning the story, I feel like I should let the viewers to go check it out themselves than saying it out. So it just makes so much sense. I feel like I would never forget 塞翁失马 ever again because it's just after learning the story, which is very interesting and very hard to forget. And you would find out, if you actually get to know about the story behind, you would be fascinated. How do you cook up idiom to describe such a niche situation or a very specific situation? And that kind of fascinates you. It's just, how do you even think of this?
Indeed.
I think it's also thousands of years of like the culture and
Yes,
civilization.
yes.
It'd be really shocking right now to say like, oh, how come a situation that's happening today has an idiom to cover it or all that. There is one idiom, since you're speaking of it, and one of my favorite idioms in Chinese I think is called 海纳百川, which I feel like represents me in a sense. I feel like it motivates me every day, which means like a sea is so vast that it can cover all the rivers, which means be open, be understanding to different cultures and languages. And I think if you're that like vastly open and accepting of different cultures, you will understand it much more than someone who's just like, you know, half interested or half or like I don't want this and I don't want that. So that's my idiom gift for everybody. Be open, be understanding, and welcome everything that's coming your way. All right, so for the next question. I don't understand Chinese at all. Is there any shortcut to help me get started quickly so I can show it off at parties?
No, next.
There's no shortcuts. Why are you asking for shortcuts?
He wants to show it off at parties.
What
Oh my god. Oh, have you guys seen those videos where he goes, when I lied on my resume and said
you actually have to speak the language.
All right, let's see if there's a video to answer this interesting question that we just received.
Hi everyone. I'm so happy to have a pleasure to speak with you about a little bit my experience about learning Chinese. Well, the first thing and the best advice that I have is like if you want to learn a language like Chinese, you need to find meaningful information. In my case, when I was studying learning this beautiful language, I went to the Chinese club of my city, but I didn't have classes with the people around my age. I had classes with kids, Chinese kids, and it was so cool because it was such an unique experience because they were more than my classmates. I feel like they were my teachers because they were always constantly helping me to improve my pronunciation, especially the 声调 of the words. Because obviously, when you start learning Chinese, maybe because our languages doesn't have tones, it's kind of difficult. But those kids were always helping me, like how to pronounce properly. I don't know, like 热水 instead of saying 热水, because that's not the right way. And another thing that I also liked a lot when I was having this classes with Chinese kids is that they analyze the characters. Like, for us, characters, I think is one of the most difficult things for learning for foreigners. But it's like, I guess that we just memorize them, but we don't understand or go a little bit further and understand more about them. And it was so cool because when I had these classes with those kids, they were explaining to me like every particle, like for example, when you have the character of a person that it's related to persons, or another character that it's like for human body parts. So it tells you. So it's really nice because like as long as you find meaningful information with the tones and the characters, I think the process gets much easier. Thank you. 谢谢.
Thank you. Well, there you go. We have different answers from people from around the world, and apparently it could be possible to show off a little bit of Chinese, even if you don't know it. I mean, I'm sure if you go on social media or like online and try to learn a Chinese song or a Chinese phrase, it won't be easy, but it definitely can help you show off at a specific situation, unless you meet people who actually speak Chinese in that situation. Then they're going to be like, no. All right, I think we have a few more questions. Let's cue the next one. I will come to China to travel soon. What social etiquette and taboos are there in China? Can you teach me 3 practical Chinese sentences? Let's start with Sasha.
Okay, so about the taboos, I feel like you have to first of all respect the Chinese culture, and it's so different to most of the countries, to be honest. And you just have to, you don't necessarily need to understand it because it's gonna take years, to be honest. But at least you have to just accept it and be respectful to the habits that people have in China, right? Then the next one is probably being modest. It is kind of a characteristic of the Chinese people, in my opinion, right? So I don't think bragging or showing off is something that Chinese people like to do. Foreigners can do this; they have the privilege, but just入乡随俗, like you don't necessarily have to do it. And the last taboo or etiquette I would mention is probably do not stick your chopsticks like this vertically into the rice. Yeah, it just has a very bad meaning connected to death. Yeah, and then the sentences that I would recommend to learn if you cannot speak Chinese at the moment is, first of all, 这个多少钱? Like, this is very useful.
Very practical, yes.
Yeah. Every time you want to buy something, you can just
how much
say
is
this. Yeah, how much is this? Yeah. The next one is probably 你扫我还是我扫你? 就是 like every time you want to buy something, you will be asked, or you can ask this, because in China you use Alipay or WeChat to buy things, right? And there is a QR code that you gotta scan.
That also actually works for when you're adding somebody in your WeChat.
Yeah, and definitely when you're in China, like a lot of Chinese people will want to add your WeChat.
So
right?
either scan me or I'll scan you.
Yes, yes, exactly.
All right, thank you, Sasha, for sharing. What about you guys?
I have one. Actually, I love this sentence. Like when you don't want to do something or you want to refuse, for example, adding the WeChat.
Yeah.
Or I love this phrase.
I
it's
already
like,
know it.
不方便.
Okay.
It's like you are polite, but you are very direct, and then they will not bother you.
And it also comes with many answers. Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah.
does 不方便 mean exactly?
Yeah,
You
yeah.
never know.
You never know. You never know what it means. But I say like 不方便 is like one of the best sentences. Like, not convenient. It's not convenient.
For me, I would say something. There's this one phrase that I really like. It's called 不理解但尊重. It's something I feel like every foreigner should have this mindset when they come. Actually, not even only in China. It's just everywhere.
Every culture.
Because if you happen to see something that's another person's culture, but you don't really understand, and maybe your natural reaction would be to frown or be very confused. But I think it's best. It's also like a etiquette or manner to not dislike it very openly. Just that's why it's called 不理解. I don't understand, 但尊重, but I respect. So even though I don't understand, I'm not frowning at it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. But maybe someday I will get it. But right now, I'll just respect whatever your culture is.
Very well said from our lovely three guests. I think we have one more question. If we can show it on the screen. How do you actually learn Chinese measure words? Why is it 1 头 for cows? Oh. But 1 匹 for horses and 1只 for sheep. So it's 一头牛, 一匹马, 一只羊. Why is that? Does anyone have an answer?
I don't know. you have to learn it. To be honest. The other day I met an Italian guy that was studying Chinese, and he was asking me, why if we can use 个 we have these many others? I said, no, you have to learn the right ones because it makes a lot of sense in the Chinese language also. So there are some things that you have to do a
Just
diary,
memorize.
you know. So yeah. Just be consistent.
Yes, and of course, as the language has been here for like thousands of years, our seniors probably had their own reasons for why they picked this kind of words. Maybe it was related to shape, maybe it was related to something else, but the way it has been passed down to us, it has different reasons, but as you master the language, it'll just come naturally to you. As you learn it.
Totally.
All right, so it was great questions. If you guys have more questions, please leave them in the comments below. The Chinese language is becoming so popular across the world, and I know that we have lots of Chinese learning students in classrooms joining our conversation and watching the show with us. If we can see how many people are joining us right now. We can see on the screen live, we are having so many different people from across the world, in different continents, in different countries watching us and learning the language. How much has the language advanced in terms of learning? I mean, as you said, when you were younger, maybe not that much people were learning Chinese. But I mean, I can speak for Jordan right now. There are so many children learning at such a young age how to master the language. Is it the same for your countries right now?
It happened to me this time that I was in Argentina. It was February. And then my little nephews and nieces, they were so interested in learning at least how to say something in Chinese, you know? So, or how to write like one character. So it was like, probably before you will never think that, or probably it's because I'm their shushu, you know? But it was like, they're so interested in that. And also because a lot of their toys or a lot of the things that they see in social media today, it also comes from China. So when, for example, one of the toys that I got my nephew was one Spider-Man thing, like a glove like that.
That's cool.
He knew what it was the exact moment I gave it to him. So it was like, oh yes, I saw this in TikTok. You know? So, and yeah, well, he knows it comes from China too. So yeah, so it's very, very interesting.
I think it's also influenced by social media because comparatively before, social media definitely wasn't as advanced as it is right now. So everything that's happening around the world, you can kind of just see right away nowadays. So obviously compared to before, people now get to know more about the Chinese culture, and before it was kind of something a little bit not that popular, but nowadays, now that people are seeing such different culture and it's such unique, and they obviously would get interested, and hence one by one, day by day, a lot of people are going to be learning. Just like, actually, I thought it was just only Bangladesh, and then I realized, you know, from the you met me at a very Chinese time of my life. So it's actually the trend around the world also becoming Chinese. So it's just not only Bangladesh, probably not only Argentina and Belarus, it's the whole world.
The whole world, as you've seen. So as we celebrate tomorrow, the International Chinese Language Day, we have received greetings from Chinese learning centers and institutes and educators from around the world sending us their greetings. So guys, let's check it out.
面向未来，让中文教育既有智慧的效率，更有情感的温度。
祝你们联合国国际中文日快乐，努力学习，天天向上。
Знание китайского языка расширяет картину мира и обогащает ее за счет познания культуры и овладевания китайскими практиками.
圣彼得堡孔子课堂积极拥抱技术进步，一直走在数字化教学和管理的前沿。
韩国安阳大学孔子学院跨越山海，连接你我。
En el día de hoy celebramos el Día Internacional de la Lengua China, que es la lengua de una de las civilizaciones más antiguas de la humanidad, pero al mismo tiempo el día de hoy también configura un puente de comunicación, de ciencia y de conocimiento.
鼓励老师们运用 AI 技术，让中文教学更形象、更生动。
في هذا العام استخدمنا التقنية الذكاء الصناعي. في المستقبل نتمنى أن نستخدم التقنية في تعليم اللغة الصينية بالتعاون مع أساتذة من الصين وكذلك من جامعة شنجن.
Thank you so much to all our lovely educators, teachers, students learning Chinese. It is your day, the International Chinese Language Day. So before we wrap up, guys, I'd love to ask each and every one of you to share a sentence on why someone should start learning Chinese. Brian.
Don't be afraid. Chinese is not as hard as you think, and it's gonna be very useful if you start to do it. Yeah.
I would say Chinese language opened a lot of opportunities for me, and I hope it would do the same for you too.
Yeah, Chinese has changed my life, and I'm sure, guys, it's gonna change yours as well. So let's start learning Chinese together today.
All right, thank you so much, guys. We have a slogan. In the beginning of our video, we shared it in English in our segment today, but we will end the slogan with 魅力中文，轻松向未来. If we can say it all together to our lovely audience.
Okay.
All right, 1, 2, 3.
魅力中文，轻松向未来.
Thank you so much for watching The Hype. This is Merna coming to you live from Beijing. The conversation has not ended, so stay tuned. We're going to say thank you to our guests right now and lead you to a lovely group of guests sharing their videos about their story with the Chinese language. This is Merna from the Beijing studio, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
学中文，点亮多彩梦想。
我是中文小达人，学说中文超自信。
魅力中文，全球轻松学。
魅力中文，
我爱中文。魅力中文，我们来了。魅力中文，轻松向未来。
作业日数方舟，农水不需长久。
错误，征求于我的江南，那等在季节里的容颜。
和而不同，这是一个红色的古老的思想。
Stop here for like 1 second to start. Shoe. Just practice. Don't worry. No one check you. Just practice, okay? So this part is together, right? So if you want to write together, you just write shoe and a little bit go. Go.
Uno respira y no escucha la respiración. 2, exhala. 3 veces más y desde lo que ve, desde lo que siente por afuera, vaya hacia adentro, vaya sintiéndose, ¿ya? Reconociendo sus hombros. 2, exhala. Relaja un poquito la cadera, inhala, ya, luego después palmas hacia arriba, palmas hacia arriba.